Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I am Mr. Warren Hayes sitting in tonight for Sean Ross Sapp, and this is the WWE Smackdown Live recap right here on Fightful.com. Sean is, he's not here with us tonight. He's on his way to Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So I am here to welcome you to Fightful.com, the place for all your combat news sports, may it be pro wrestling, MMA, boxing. We've got it all here. And if what you want is only pro wrestling news and exclusives, well, then you just head on over to FightfulWrestling.com. We've got everything all nice and packaged up just for you. And by the way, over there right now, you can check out the final interview that Sean did with Matt Riddle. Final interview before Matt head over to WWE. You can find the Fightful Wrestling Weekly, Sean's pay-per-view Raw and SmackDown Live ratings are there as well. A bunch of podcasts as well. The Listen Your Boy. By the way, programming note: if you are a listener of Fightful's mothership podcast, Listen Your Boy, it will be aired live on Thursday. Again, because Sean will be in transition over to Toronto. And if you want more podcasts, and I know you do, because as wrestling fans, we love to listen to podcasts, love to listen to people talk about wrestling. Well, you go to FightfulSelect.com, you'll get a whole bunch more podcasts and more exclusives. We have the SummerSlam 1992 retro review podcast that Sean and I made that's coming up this week. We have my weekly 205 Live NXT recap. That happens tomorrow. There's new dark match commentary that Sean provided up there. Lots of early access stuff. Hell, there's even a fantasy football league now. Go check it out. FightfulSelect.com. I am joined by Alex Pawlowski tonight, who is the cornerstone of these reviews. What a show we had tonight, did we not, Alex?
We did. It was a very good show. Ridiculously tone deaf creative decisions notwithstanding, the performers in the ring did a hell of a job. I will say that.
Absolutely, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. I think we have to build to this moment.
Yeah.
Because I've been chomping at the bit. Like I went out on Twitter and I said, I cannot wait to talk about this with Alex.
Yeah.
But we got to pace ourselves. I was excited for the show. I was really looking forward to it. At SummerSlam, all the matches, like when I was thinking about the SummerSlam this week, I was thinking about the matches that really got to me, that really got me excited. I was thinking about AJ and Joe. I was thinking about the Bludgeon Brothers and New Day and the triple threat, the women's triple threat for the SmackDown title. And I was like, I'm really excited to see where this goes. And so on. And aside from Roman, Braun, Brock, there was really nothing else on the Raw side that got me excited. But the SmackDown stuff really hyped me up. And we often hear people talk online saying that, SmackDown is the better show and so on and so forth. And when it seems to me that there's something creatively that SmackDown definitely has that Raw seems to be lacking. I don't know what you think.
I think SmackDown was kind of conceived, as far as I can tell, originally from the jump, the first big brand split, when they redid the brand split, as the work rate show. And there have been times where I got away from that, notably with Jinder Mahal as your WWE champion. But
thank you for reminding us of that. Thank you.
Yeah. But we're back to that now, it feels like, in a lot of ways. At least here's the thing, is that tonight and a few weeks ago, when they had New Day in the bar, they just decided, let's give the last quarter of the show, a half hour, as the main event to tag team wrestling at its finest.
Right.
Like that, Raw would never do such a thing, namely because Raw doesn't have a tag division. But I mean, at least they're doing stuff where they allow the performers to do. This is what this is my new mantra. WWE, let the wrestlers do good wrestling. If you do that, everything else will work itself out. And on SmackDown, they appear to be doing that more than they are on Raw. Now, notwithstanding last night's main event, Finn and Roman tore the house down, and that seems to me to be a beginning of something positive. But what remains to be seen. The problem with Raw is it's so long that there are peaks and valleys, and sometimes the valleys are so low that they counteract the peaks in entirety. So
right, and I'd even go as far as to say that, you know, I'm invested in the SmackDown mid card, right? Like all the mid card players on SmackDown have something going on. They're well developed. They're compelling. There's always something happening. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, well,
about Titus Worldwide, for instance, or Bobby Roode or Mojo Rawley.
Well, Mojo Rawley and Bobby Roode didn't even make air this week. So if they try and come out next week and tell me that this feud's still going on, I'm gonna call shenanigans. That thing's done. You can't do it. Then have a pay-per-view. Then have the Raw after pay-per-view and never mention them and be like, "Hey guys, remember these things?" No, I don't remember them. They're done. The thing is, the mid card on Raw is the undercard. There's no real mid card there. I mean, the mid card in SmackDown is guys like Andrade Almas and Rusev, guys like we really care about, and a lot of, you know, quote unquote real fans. I don't use that. I use that ironically, but there's a lot of people who are super hardcore fans, and I want to see these guys in the main event at the top of the card. So when they're in the mid card, I care about watching them. I don't think there's a lot of people, you know, no offense, who are being like, man, I really can't wait for that Titus main event push. Like it's just, I don't think that's a thing.
Well, listen, I mean, we're all shocked recently to discover how many Kelly stands there were out there. Maybe there are some Titus stands.
Titus is one of the great dudes of the world. Like his heart is amazing. I love that guy. I mean, he's a very large man. I will say that. That's about all I can say with him of his in-ring acumen. He's a very large man.
His heart is as large as his torso.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
Guys, remember, if you're joining us live right now, give this video a thumbs up, tweet it out, share it on Facebook. Make sure everyone knows that Fightful.com is the place to get the best live recaps, even though Sean's not here. All right, so let's get to it. SmackDown Live, August 21st, 2018. The Miz comes out with Maryse. Straight off the bat, Alex, that was a sight for sore eyes, wasn't it? That was nice to see them back together.
Yeah, I've always loved those two together. And Maryse doing her that thing. I'll always pop for that thing. That's great. Little hand gesture that she does. That's good. And this led right into, you know, Miz being a little shit, and that's when he's the best. They
recap, and with reason, they recap the absolutely cagey, simple, and slick passing of the brass knuckles from SummerSlam, and I'm glad they did it because it helps. I think it helps boost Maryse so much more. Probably maybe some fans have forgotten just how cagey she can be and how important she is to Miz as well. So if she's getting an on-air role more now, well, probably because she's got a match coming.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
But like you said, Miz starts basically mocking Daniel Bryan's retirement speech, where he says, "With heavy heart, I announce my retirement of never facing Daniel Bryan again."
Yeah, it's cute.
Well, you know,
it's cute.
We all kind of saw that coming, but it was still satisfying nonetheless. He says that he said he was going to. He did what he said he was going to do. That is beat Daniel Bryan in front of a sold-out Barclays Center. I liked when he said 100 Daniel Bryan punches do not equate to a single Miz punch, the hardest punch in WWE. The hardest punch in this entire arena is the Miz punch.
Yeah, No, he's that's it's classic healing. I mean, he's very, very, very good at what he does. He's one of the best ever, and and you can't take any of that away from him. There are a lot of people out there who still can't rock with the way he does what he does in ring, but I think he's improved so much over the past couple of years that I don't even find fault with that. Because what he's doing is he's not trying to be Cesaro, for God's sake. He's trying to do what he does, and he does it absolutely perfectly, in my book.
Daniel Bryan comes out, and he's not in a good mood. He calls Miz a coward, keeps repeating it. Bryan is in a complete business mode tonight. He calls him, he calls Miz a facade. He says he's going to expose Miz for what he really is, a wannabe Hollywood actor cosplaying as a pro wrestler. Maryse says Daniel Bryan should change his name to Daniel Bella, and lo and behold, fancy she should mention Bella. Brie Bella runs in, goes for Maryse, who rolls out of the ring, but instead Brie slugs Miz right in the face. Paige comes out. No, Bryan actually says that Paige made a match at Hell in a Cell, a mixed tag match between Maryse and The Miz and Brie Bella and Daniel Bryan. Alex, what do you think about that match?
I'm sure that somewhere out there, someone had to have had this thought on Sunday night. You know, that Miz versus Daniel Bryan match was really great. I mean, they had like 8 years of history behind it, and they did really great work in ring and told an amazing story. But you know what was missing? Brie Bella and Maryse making mandatory tags because it's a mixed tag match. That's what I really want to see. And for those of you out there who had that thought, good for you. WWE is programming to your tastes, not my tastes, because what I wanted to see was a grudge match in Hell in the Cell between these two. But instead, I'm gonna get 3 weeks of programming where Brie Bella puts the Miz in the yes lock on SmackDown, and I don't rock with the whole mixed tag thing. When they were doing the mixed tag tournament, that was fine. It was a whole thing, but like on a show where you have actual real wrestling between women wrestlers and between male wrestlers, and then you have this thing where like if the man wants to tag out because he's scared of the guy across from him, he tags his lady in, and then the other guy has to tag the other lady in. It just kills all momentum. The feud leading up to Miz and Maryse versus Cena and Nikki, that was all amazing. The match was dreck. You know what I mean? So this may be fun between the Miz and Bryan, Maryse and Brie. May be fun for the next 3 weeks, but the match is going to be terrible. It's just objectively terrible.
Well, I'm not looking forward to it. I do think there's something to be said about, you know, adding a little more life to the Miz Bryan feud here by throwing the women in and then getting our grudge match, you know, because I could see this. Like, if you were to give me the book, I'd have Miz and Maryse just completely destroy Brie. You know what I mean? Like, give it really torch this feud, like not torch it. What's the word I'm looking for? Set it ablaze. That's more like it.
Yeah.
That's what I do. But I agree with your point. Ultimately, it's not going to be a good match. And most of my good booking ideas, WWE never uses. So.
Right. I have no problem with Brie and Maryse having a one-on-one match at Evolution on the undercard somewhere that lasts 2 minutes or something. You know what I mean? Like, just, you know, for old time's sake. but yeah, I don't, gosh, because really I was watching Miz and Bryan on Sunday thinking, God, this is the first chapter of the continuation of this feud. They're going to have at least 3 matches in this ring. I mean, I can't wait to see what match number 2 is. I didn't think for a second match number 2 was going to be a mixed tag. You know what I mean? I'm kind of disappointed that I'm not going to get something other than that.
I get you. I understand, and I have a tendency to agree with you. I'm just trying to see the silver lining here, I guess. Jeff Hardy faces Randy Orton on this night. Bit of out of nowhere, but that was cool. I love the early spot when Jeff Hardy is climbing to the top rope and Orton is just behind him, and he just sort of like he double slaps his butt, you know, and just goes slap, and Hardy tumbles over, and that immediately leads us into a commercial break. And we come back and Orton is in control. Look, the in-ring match itself, I think we can gloss over a little bit. You know, it's mostly Hardy hitting his signature offense, you know, the whisper in the wind, the double leg drop, the low drop kick, the twist of fate, goes for the swanton, and then Orton crotches him, and then he decides to go back to the ear, much to the generalized cringing of everyone watching.
Yeah.
And then they brawl to the outside. Well, no, sorry, not just yet. Jeff Hardy is done with Randy Orton. He has him on his back. He lifts his leg and just stomps him right in the nuts. I'm not going to steal some other guy's catchphrase here.
No, there'll be copyright infringement, and I'm sure he'd sue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he's merciless like that.
So right in the nuts.
Yeah. Let's do that.
And then they brawl to the outside, and I liked this brawl.
Yeah.
They brawl all the way into a tech area. Hardy clobbers him. Orton. He clobbers Orton with chairs. He even has to change chairs because the chair is falling apart. He pelts Orton with a handy cam, and I hope that handy cam was operational. I want to see the footage of that.
Yeah. Yes.
Just to end it all up, he lays Orton out on a table, climbs up on some road cases, and swanton dives onto Orton through the table. Holy hell, Alex! What is going on with our man Jeff?
I want to know why Jeff hates his own body so much that he would do this to it at this age when he's obviously in so much pain. This was the match in the first hour that they decided to show us some of the footage during the commercial break. I always get I always forget that they do that on SmackDown. So as soon as commercial starts, I'll look away at my phone or whatever. I'll look back up and I go, "Oh, the match is still happening. I should watch this," since I can't hear it. And during that, Randy did at least 2 of his little backdrops onto the table. And I'm like, God. He just did a swanton onto the damn apron 2 nights ago. Come on. Let's stop doing that to poor Jeff's kidneys. And then later in the match, he voluntarily hits a swanton. Listen, I liked this beatdown because it wasn't one-sided. I like a 50-50 beatdown feud because it shows that each guy can go off the edge and do whatever. This appears to be leading to a big-time grudge match at Hell in a Cell. Hardy has said that the one match he's always wanted to do before he retires is a Hell in a Cell match. If he does it this time, next month, I'm worried that he might just say, you know what? I'm doing a swanton off of this thing because I have nothing left to lose. If I paralyze myself, I did it for the love of the game, and I can go off into the sunset because his brother's apparently retiring too. So I don't know. I'm interested in seeing where this goes. The thing that I still don't get is what the hell was up with Orton's run-in on Sunday, where he sauntered down the ramp, got to the ringside area, and then just turned around and went back. I don't know what that was.
I would have liked a modicum of an explanation for that, because
at some point,
the only theory that I have in my mind is Orton saw him beaten down and battered, and he was like, nah, he's not worth it, you know?
But the way he reacted wasn't that. It looked like a non-kayfabe thing. Like he got there, knew he was supposed to continue a beatdown, and the ref was like, no, he's actually really hurt. You probably shouldn't do any of the things you plan on doing. It was like, okay, I'm gonna leave then. It didn't feel like it was like this, abortive kind of a thing right in the middle of it. Like, okay, mission abort, pull out, pull out. It's too hot. You got to get out of there, man. Like, that's what it felt like to me. But yeah, this is a feud between two old heads that I'm fine with. Taking up a little bit of time on Tuesdays. Cool with me. Yeah,
and I think it was the right spark that was needed, like you said, to a legit grudge match. It was good. Pat Fannin in the chat says that Jeff is trying to knock his back into alignment.
Possibly.
That's
a very cheap chiropractor, but I don't know if it's an effective one.
We see Renee Young backstage with the Bar or Dabar or Tabar, depending on who you're talking to. They're here to issue a challenge, but the Good Brothers arrive and they do some commentary stuff, which was legitimately pretty funny. Luke Gallows was really, really funny. And between that and him pretending that he was dating Nia Jax for a day on social media this week, he's kind of my hero.
Yeah. Listen, these two guys, certainly the absolute stars of Southpaw Regional Wrestling.
Unquestionably.
Loved it. Here's the thing that they could do that would absolutely make every pre-show must-see TV. You have these two guys come out, and for every segment, they're at the desk as different characters, like with costumes and wigs and everything, and and they are taking it absolutely seriously, and these other characters giving analysis. Like, that's it. Just have Renee Young and those guys, and that's it. Get Jerry Lawler out of there. Get David Otunga the hell out of there. Get Booker T out of there. Renee Young and the many faces of Gallows and Anderson. That's it. I'll never miss another second of your stupid pre-shows. I love these guys, and I'm glad to see them back on TV. This is what I was going to say earlier. The mid-card of SmackDown, because this show's 2 hours, and they have to have people like rotating in and out when they have programs. Gallows and Anderson have been on TV in forever. Naomi, we're going to talk about in a second, hasn't been on TV in forever. So when they show up kind of unannounced, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember you. You're cool. I used to like you. I'm glad you're back. And that honestly just gives me like a little lift and makes me go, I'm glad I'm watching this. And it's very rare that I ever have an unexpected moment on Raw where I go, hey, I'm glad I'm watching this. So SmackDown has the edge there, I guess.
And to me, like you often sorry, I'll start with this tomorrow. There's often been discussions in the past, about wrestling having seasons, to give wrestlers a rest so that they can just heal up their body and not have to put themselves through the punishment, 250 days, 270 odd days in the year. I would be absolutely fine if there were like 3-month rotations where you would have one third of the year with, like this group of superstars. And then for the next 3 months, you won't see these guys anymore, but you'll have these guys coming back. It'd be much more easy to have like a serial feel, like you could end like this 3-month stretch with these wrestlers. You could end this stretch on a cliffhanger for all these little storylines and come back 3 months after, or conclude them, whatever. Yeah. But come back 3 months after and like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's a really great opportunity, like what they had basically with the Good Brothers. They had a title shot versus the Bludgeon Brothers, I think at Backlash or something, and I don't remember seeing them since then. So what this is like, they got their title shot, they lost because they were the challengers. They don't get a rematch, so they fade into the background. They're still going out there doing house shows and whatever, and we don't see them. And so when they show up again, then they can say, "Hey, we want to have we recently had a title shot, so we would like to face you, the Bar, for a title shot next week." And all of a sudden, now I got a match next week I'd like to watch, and whoever wins that, I want to see them versus what we'll find out later is a new tag team champion. Now,
absolutely, and just the fact that we're getting that match next week, and how I think that we should be very excited. It should be very good. Naomi versus Peyton Royce. Graves immediately off the bat says, as the Iconics are coming in, he says, I followed the Iconics since they were in NXT and they have never looked better. And he really put the emphasis on those 3 words there. Corey always giving us the wink, wink, nudge, nudge to things going on online. They cut their promo. They're running down Brooklyn and Naomi. And then we cut to commercial. When we come back from commercial, the match has already started.
Yep.
And I'm in Canada, so I don't see the picture-in-picture during the commercials. So I don't know what's going on. That's like I come back and like, oh, okay. Thank you. Peyton ducks kicks. Naomi knees her with the most obvious knee slap, though, that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking. And then after Naomi, she starts fighting back she gets some offense in, and she hits with kicks and a drop kick, and she's slapping her thigh the entire time. And all I can think about is that one slap that she did. And it kind of took me out of the match. Alex, right? Alex, that's your name?
Yes, me. Listen, I'm all for the mid card of the women's division getting stuff to do. Naomi hasn't been on TV in a while. I'm wondering who they're going to slide in as her tag partner versus the Iconics. The only person I can think of is Asuka, and what a giant step down that would be for Asuka. Like, hey, here's this person that I don't really have any connection with, but we're both baby faces, so we're going to face this established duo. That's usually not reserved for the woman who went undefeated in NXT. But then again, that doesn't really matter now. She's lost so many times on the main roster. Insert rant here about how they book their NXT champions once they've come up to the main roster.
Royce ends the match with a rather nice fisherman suplex into a bridge for the pin. I thought this was
You know, I mean, they're not all going to be 5-star matches. This is the beginning of something that I'm assuming lead toward a match at Evolution in some capacity. If they're going to have a big battle royal or whatever, maybe this storyline will be a part of that, whatever. I'm just glad to see Naomi back on TV. She really got the shaft after being a great champion for them, and then being like, "Hey, you kind of twisted your ankle. We're going to take the strap off you." Whatever the hell that was, it was not a real injury because she was back like 2 weeks later. So they kind of jumped the gun on that thing. Meanwhile, there's people who never defend the strap for months and months and months at a time. Anyway, I always felt like that was kind of something they probably wouldn't have done to other people. But I'm happy to see her back.
For sure.
And we'll see where she goes from here.
For sure. And I mean, it's just this match. And the thing is that I know that both these ladies can do better. I just thought the offense was, and on both sides, I thought the offense was kind of soft.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The thing is that had they taken some Blue Chew, their offense would not have been soft. It would have been long and hard. Oh, God.
You're a pro at this already, I can tell. You're a pro at this already.
Blue Chew. That's BLUE, like the color, chew.com. It brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. You can take them anytime, day or night, or even on a full stomach. And since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill. So you can be ready whenever an opportunity arises. No more soft performances for you. Blue Chew is prescribed online and ships straight to your door in a discreet package. So no in-person doctor's visit, no waiting in the pharmacy, and best of all, no awkwardness. No one likes soft opportunities. They're awkward. I'm moving on. They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than in a pharmacy. And right now, we've got a special deal for everyone watching right now, or even in the future, at least for as long as this promo is going. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free by using the special promo code FIGHTFUL. You just pay $5 for shipping. Invest in yourself. Make this happen for yourself. That's BLUE Chew.com. Promo code Fightful. Try it for free. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice. And we thank them so very much for sponsoring this podcast.
I just like to say,
yes.
For those of you watching this in the future, if it's the year 2021 and you've somehow found your way back to a 2018 SmackDown live review from post SummerSlam, I can't vouch for that this code's still going to work. You can go ahead and try it. I mean, why not? But honestly, I don't know. So.
What if they just leave the code going, just out of oversight?
Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible. The New Day are backstage, and Big E is eating ribs because his ribs are injured.
Yep.
Apparently. And I didn't see any legit injury reports saying that he was out.
He's not legit injured. But they're good for them for actually playing that up. It was a post match attack with the hammer that did him in by Luke Harper. Harper hit him in the ribs with the hammer, Triple H style, by putting his hand over the giant hammer end, and because that's really how you want to hit somebody with a hammer.
Right.
Not like this. God, no, not actually hitting them with a hammer. Just basically push them with the end of it like that. It's fine.
Shove someone with your hammer. Just shove them.
Yeah, just shove it right in the face. But yeah,
I could actually lead into another Blue Chew
I could
spot, but
these guys are magic. They could turn anything into something great. I mean, I don't know what ridiculous little Chinese buffet that he went to get those short ribs. That was fun.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
Never break up the New Day.
Never.
All right, are you ready for this, Alex? This is our main event.
Yes, it is.
Becky Lynch comes to the ring. She walks down. She's not smiling. She doesn't have the goggles. The crowd noise has been significantly reduced. The music is loud. She says, "I deserve to be standing here as women's champion." The audience cheers. Charlotte deserved the beating. The audience cheers. It wasn't about Roman. SummerSlam was not about Roman, Brock, Rousey, Seth, so on. It was about me, and it was my time. The crowd cheers. She's delivering her promo without giving the crowd a moment to interfere. You know that she was given this cue by someone backstage. She was told, you have to deliver your lines one after the other. Do not give them time to react so that it doesn't come across on TV. Kind of like when they try to drown out the one fall.
Yep.
But it's not working. The audience is ready to cheer for Becky Lynch. I pictured myself, I think we'll just go through it.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about it. I pictured myself as the top woman with the title held above my head. But you, talking to the audience, you people, you act like you were with me, but were you really with me? There was no hashtag give Becky a chance. She says she gets a few tweets. She got a few tweets saying that, oh, Becky got screwed over when Charlotte was involved. A few tweets? We obviously don't share the same Twitter.com, I guess. She says she's one of the most beloved talents in WWE, unironically, by the way. Yeah. She has the stands, fine, but she also has legions of real fans, smarks, so on and so forth. Everybody loves Becky Lynch. Yeah. She says, you people stood up and cheered when Charlotte won. I'm like, what? What? We were not yet the same pay-per-view? No one did that. She was booed out of the building. She says that you people are all a generation of all talk and all opinions and no action. I decided to take action. And people are still cheering for that. She knew Charlotte was holding her back. And so when she won, I would raise her hand up and tear her head off. And the audience cheered again. No matter what she said, the audience was 100% behind her. Charlotte comes out, goes after Becky. They brawl. Becky chants are drowned out as they're fighting. Paige comes out, she brings out the entire women's wrestler roster, not wrestler, roster. Absolution is there. The Iconics, Asuka, Naomi, everyone is there. In a pull-apart brawl. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Alex, take it away.
WWE is famous for being tone deaf and for turning the wrong people heel or not turning somebody heel when they need to be, or they just have never learned how to read the freaking room. Ever. They used to do this. They used to, if anybody came back from an injury, that person was automatically a babyface for at least 2 months. Mm-hmm. Triple H, the worst person in the world. He tore his quad and he came back and the crowd cheered him because they missed him, because they were like, we used to love watching this guy perform. Now he's back. We're going to cheer for him. And WWE let them cheer for him. They booked him as a babyface for a while and then he turned heel. When Seth Rollins went out and he hurt his knee and he came back, and when he came back, he attacked Roman, who we all hated at the time. We cheered for Seth. And they said, no. We're going to have Seth come out the night after his big return, and he's going to cut a promo about how I took all of your get well cards and I put them in a pile and I set them on fire. What? We all want to cheer for you, dude. We think you're amazing in the ring. We're happy you're back. You attacked the guy we hate, Roman. We want to cheer for you. And the AEW said, no, we're not going to let you do that. No. AJ Styles was hugely over as a babyface. They had him turn on John Cena, and we were like, well, actually, we kind of agree with that. That's pretty good. But no, they had him come out and cut promos about how we all sucked, and we don't actually like you. You don't actually like me. That's the big thing they like having the heels do. When the heels have turned from being babyfaces we liked, it was like, you didn't actually like me. The idea that Becky Lynch...
Just like Sami
Zayn did the same thing. But Becky Lynch, the idea that Becky Lynch, especially Becky Lynch, who cut a promo a few weeks ago, the most pure, wonderful babyface promo ever, so full of optimism. You're all with me, and I'm gonna do this for you. And we all cheered for her. We said, yes, Becky, go and do it. And then when the WWE decided to insert Charlotte in this thing for no apparent reason other than she was healthy, we all went, oh no, this is going to be terrible, because they're going to give the title to Becky. They're going to give the title to Charlotte, and when they do, they're going to have Becky celebrate with Charlotte, and we're still supposed to be all okay with that. But instead, they had Becky actually have a real, honest-to-goodness human being reaction on Sunday, and we all cheered for her because we said, good for you, Becky. Good for you standing up for yourself. We're all with you.
Remember, sorry to cut in, but remember just a couple of months ago when Bayley did the exact same thing on Sasha? Commentary was playing it down, saying, oh, what's gotten into Bayley? This is horrible. This is uncalled for. But Bayley got one of the biggest pops she got since leaving NXT doing just that.
I'm convinced that the real reason they did that ridiculous let's go to therapy session with Bayley and Sasha is because they saw the reaction Bayley got when she quote unquote turned heel and just said, we can't do this. This isn't going to work. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they're going to do that with this, but I'm going to say this. As stupid as this entire thing was, and as insulting as it is to be told by Becky, who doesn't actually believe this for a second, that we all weren't actually with her. I mean, come on, you're just being disingenuous and insulting to us. As all of that, as terrible as all that is, go back and watch Becky's face during that beatdown as they were pulling her apart. The absolute darkness behind her eyes. This girl is mega talented, and she's gonna sell us all on this thing in 2 weeks. 2 more weeks of this. And we're all going to be behind. We're all going to be like, wow, Becky, you're so good at being a heel. I can't believe you were ever a face. That's how good she's going to be at this. It doesn't change the fact that this was a stupid, ultra moronic decision by WWE, as tone deaf as they've ever been. But somehow, I have a feeling Becky's going to somehow make this work.
And we had the same apprehensions when Sammy turned as well. And he was able to spin gold out of this. He did never been more relevant on main roster since then. My thing here, if I can add in my little analysis, I feel like, look, I actually made a video on my own YouTube channel about this. Talking about Becky versus Charlotte, who do you turn face here? Because you have Becky Lynch, who is the absolute absolute pure baby face. She has a natural connection to the audience. Right now, this what she has can be taught. This is a natural thing that she has. People are just drawn to her. Then on the other hand, you have Charlotte. Now, of course, and I think you actually said this at the SummerSlam review, Alex, that Flares are heels.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Flares are meant to be heels, and Charlotte is so good and has so much personality as a heel that it just makes sense. Like this, again, it just books itself, right?
Yep.
But no, of course, we have to twist things around. But the reason I think that they're doing Becky as a heel as opposed to Charlotte is because Charlotte looks like a champion. She looks like $1 million. And I'm going to be semi-cynical here for an instant, but I think that if you're positioning Charlotte, who in the minds of WWE management is their top women's athlete, never mind Ronda Rousey here. We're not talking about Ronda Rousey. Charlotte being their top woman athlete who has crossover appeal, who when goes to PR situations, she handles herself wonderfully. She has charisma. She speaks really well. She looks good. She handles herself like a pro. If she is meant to be the spokeswoman for the women's division to a certain extent, do you really want her to be a heel? You know what I mean?
Right. But I think that goes to them not really realizing that you can have Becky Lynch be the spokeswoman for your women's division. You could have that because she's incredibly charming, and she's not like she's, like hard to look at or something. She's just as Becky said earlier in the day on a special podcast. She says, maybe I'm not blonde enough.
Right.
Like,
I saw that.
Vince has a type.
Yes.
He does, and Becky doesn't fit that type. And so there you go. That's what it is. And I mean, she even dropped, maybe I'm not enhanced enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a wee bit of shade. It's a
whatever.
wee.
Listen, whatever. I'm content to see how well Becky does in this role that she should never have had to play, because she's the best and truest babyface of either gender that we've had in a long time on either roster. And to throw that away because you want Charlotte Flair to go on the Today Show is I wouldn't
put it past them. But when it all comes down to, when at the end of the day, we can just blame Kevin Dunn too.
Sure.
Andrade Cien Almas versus Zelina Vega, versus Rusev and Lana. In a tape promo just before their match, Zelina asks why Rusev and Lana want to fight again. And at that moment in time, Zelina was all of us. She did get the really good line with Andrade. Andrade says, forget about Rusev Day. It's all about Andrade. That tugged the right heartstrings. I like that. Again, it's nothing that we haven't seen between these four at this point. And, I was entirely, it's 50-50 booking at this point. Rusev uses his power on Almas. Almas begins to strike back with the jawbreaker, does some strikes in the corner. He does a hanging arm bar that didn't look all that good. Didn't look painful. I don't think Rusev was well positioned. Didn't look like he was selling it well. Rusev whiffs a kick to Almas coming off the top rope too. Everything sort of felt off. Not just the women, even the guys. And there was this stupid spot where Zelina has she's, I guess, in a fireman's carry position, but she has Lana's arms in bars, in a leg bar, with her legs. She has them twisted up, and with her arms as well, which is supposed to be some kind of submission. And Lana starts trying, and Lana's up on her 2 feet, and she's trying to walk over to get the tag to Rusev. It was so dumb. I was like, all she has to do is, like, she can hop, she can skip, she can make this 3 feet, no problem.
Yeah, well, she also, I mean, you don't have to make a tag hand to hand. You know, like, that was the thing, that she couldn't reach her hand over to tag Rusev because of the way, although really she could, all she had to do was like rotate her body and then inch sideways, because she can move her feet fine. But also all you gotta do is like walk up, and Rusev could like tag her shoulder. It was listen, the in-ring thing is, I don't want to talk about any of that crap.
Okay.
Rusev has a hell of a babyface hot tag. This guy somehow, like, here's the thing. Go back and think when he was the champion of Putin, when he was coming out in a damn tank and he was the biggest monster heel ever. Did you ever think that this guy was born to be a babyface? Because he totally is. He's so great in this role. Andrade also fantastic stuff. I love his feint kick, spin around back elbow, and Rusev sold that like $1 trillion. That's great. This is all fine. And guess the most important thing that comes out of this is, please say this is a happy ending and not like a fake out, that we get Aiden English back on the same page, coming out, redeeming himself. Just when I thought that you came back and you totally redeemed yourself. And that's Aiden English tonight. And because I didn't want to see them break up this team. And maybe they're actually back together, and it all ends up happily ever after. That's fine. I never need to see this whole iteration ever again. I mean, I'd like to see Andrade versus Rusev, but no more mixed tags. I don't need to see that between these four. No, that's fine. You don't need to do that anymore. That's fine.
In case you didn't see the match and you're wondering what the hell is Alex talking about, Zelina's distracting the ref and almost runs in with a chair, but Aiden English comes literally out of nowhere, grabs the chair, so therefore keeping Almas from using it, and Rusev ends the match with an accolade on Almas for the win. Rusev Day is fine, I would say.
Yep. For now. We'll see what happens next week.
Shinsuke Nakamura does an iPhone promo, and he reads the poem from the Statue of Liberty, giving you're tired, you're poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. And he says now that he's defeated Jeff Hardy, he's retained his U.S. title and welcomes us to the United States of Nakamerica. I thought that was funny. Is it, Alex, in your opinion, is it too close to what Kevin Owens did as the new face of America?
This is I think the United States Championship exists solely for it to be put on foreign heels. Like, Vince loves that. Oh, he thinks, oh, it's ironic, right? Because he's not even from here, and he's the United States champion. That makes you upset because he's an immigrant and we don't like them. Like, honestly, I don't understand what, like, okay, fine. Like, you could, I don't care. You could put it on a foreign guy, make him a good guy. You could put it on an American guy, make him a bad guy. Switch it up. I don't care. I do like the United States of Nakamerica. I think that's funny. I'm into that. Nakamerica. That's cool.
I'm into it too. It does. I was just throwing that out there, but it'll be super charming.
Yeah.
We get an AJ Styles segment where Renee Young welcomes Styles at the Okerlund position. He has trouble coming to grips with what he did. He said he broke a promise. He's not, he doesn't regret doing what he did to Samoa Joe, but he regrets his actions. And then all of a sudden, Joe trips him off the stage and puts Styles in a coquina clutch, putting him to sleep. And Joe grabs the microphone, looks straight into the camera, actually grabs the cameraman, to bring him closer to the fallen AJ Styles and says, "Oh, Wendy."
Oh yeah, so good.
It seems we're making a lot of promises tonight, but guess what? Daddy's already got night. Goddamn Samoa Joe. That's all I gotta say.
Yep.
That's all I have to say.
He's leaps and bounds above anybody else who does this kind of thing. Not just a monster heel, not just heel work, but there's a specific brand of it where he's just vicious.
Yeah.
He's vicious, not only physically because he is, but mentally and psychologically. Like, he'll break you physically, but he will break you mentally. This guy's so good at what he does. I love watching him work.
That was good. We get a segment with Paige, who's backstage with Carmella, that R-Truth interrupts, saying that Carmella's been ducking and dodging him for weeks. He says, "I want to pin you because I want my title shot." I'm glad they're bringing that back. And R-Truth, Paige says, "Look, this is not going to happen. That's not how it works." And R-Truth looks at Carmella and says, "You got lucky this one time." And basically this all sets up a rematch, Charlotte versus Carmella next week. And I can't wait to see what Becky Lynch decides to do. And this leads us into our main event, the Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day. Word had broken earlier in the day that Eric Rowan has a torn bicep and will require surgery. That is a super bummer because he cannot catch a break.
Nope, he cannot. Poor guy.
That's awful. It was a fine match, all in about in and about itself. The story of this match was you have the two smaller guys of the New Day because the big guy is out. So you have the two smaller guys who take a hell of a beating the entire match. That's essentially what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Just before the commercial break, Wood drop kicks Harper over the announce table, but Harper throws a commentator's chair at Kofi, who eats it. Yep. Like, I think that's the exact definition of eating a chair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No. This is obviously Bray Wyatt has taught his minions how to throw office chairs back on the compound. And now that they've separated from him, they haven't forgotten the lessons that he taught them. Because as we all know, Braun throws a chair really, really well. And Harper's no slouch either. So I'm really proud of both of Bray's boys.
There's a lot of goings on the outside. The New Day pull out a ladder. And we all expect Kofi to do something crazy with it, but not quite. Not as crazy as we thought. Harper dives on both of the New Day while Rowan is holding them on the outside. They pull out chairs. We have chairs being tossed in. Kofi deflects a chair shot and DDTs Harper on one of the chairs. Covers for two because Rowan breaks the pin up. Rowan is beating Xavier Woods to a pulp on the outside. Essentially, the ladder is set up between two chairs. And the Bludgeons set Woods up for the crucifix bomb, but Kofi jumps in. They catch him and do the crucifix bomb on him instead. They cover him, but Kofi kicks out. The bros get a table then, set it up in the ring. They get their LARPing mallets. I'm sorry. They look like LARPing mallets. They don't look dangerous. Even if they just don't look hard. They don't. Rowan charges Woods with the mallet, but Woods rolls out of the way and Harper goes right into the barricade and he is selling an injured arm. What a shock. And basically the match ends when Woods goes up on top as Kofi lays Harper on the table and Xavier hits a really far elbow drop through the table for the win. We have new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I guess in the context, he didn't have much of a choice, Alex.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I really hate injuries in wrestling because it can really screw with people's careers. You know, like the Revival still haven't recovered from from when they had that first injury, and then they were positioned to feud with the Hardy Boys after having bested the New Day. Like, those guys were going to be a major deal. One guy got injured. He came back. 2 weeks later, the other guy got injured. They still haven't recovered. They're still trying to figure out ways of beating Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. So, like, and this is the thing with Rowan. He's had this same injury before. I don't know if it's the same arm. I think it might be. I mean, it would stand to reason, but he's had the same injury with torn biceps before. It really sucks. The Wyatt family never could stay fully healthy. And I honestly thought, because it was built perfectly to their strengths, this was the best match for the Bludgeon Brothers in this current run. And now it's over.
Yep.
And Rowan's got to go off and have surgery and rehab. My one request is that whatever you do with Harper, don't shunt him to the sidelines. He's so good. He's gotten himself in great shape. He's been great in this run for the Bludgeon Brothers, doing the lion's share of the work. This match was fantastic. And listen, it's completely pie in the sky, crazy fantasy booking. But Luke Harper used to be friends with a guy who's over on Raw. And that guy happens to be in a situation where he wants a title being held by a certain big dog. And that big dog has other friends who are with him that form they're hounds, let's say hounds of justice, right?
For instance,
and so this very big guy who used to run with Luke Harper, he's over on Raw. And maybe he might need some backup. I don't know how you have a way to get Luke Harper over on Raw to work with Braun and a rehabilitated Bray, who's no longer the leader of the group because Braun is now. I think if you don't have to have Bray be the guy who talks all the time, if he can just be a crazy dude who does nuts things in the ring, if he can be basically the Ambrose of this triumvirate, because in that triumvirate, Luke Harper is the Rollins and Braun is the Roman, all of a sudden you have a 6-man feud that could last you 2 straight years, provided that there's no injuries involved. But imagine a reconstituting of the Wyatt family with Braun as the ringleader versus the Shield. Like, you have an opportunity to do this, WWE. You could. You won't, but you could.
We can dream anyway.
Yeah.
Guys, that was SmackDown for August 21st. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. Alex, what's going on with you this week? Where can we find you on the social medias?
You can find me at Pawlowski the Fourth on the Twitters. As always, it's hashtag dad life between Tuesday nights and Monday nights.
And as for me, you can find me at Mr. Warren Hayes on Twitter, or you can follow me on my own YouTube channel at tinyurl.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, or you can join me on FightfulSelect.com. Be sure to check that out. Tomorrow night, I do my weekly NXT 205 live recap show. So visit FightfulSelect.com, subscribe to FightfulSelect.com, visit Fightful.com. And guys, your word of mouth, sharing articles, engaging in articles, leaving comments, thoughts, that helps us out tons. And then it can't be overstated. Word of mouth is important. So if you like this stuff, share it, put it out there. Even if this video is done, people can watch it later. Share it tomorrow as well. Do it. Share it all the time. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Go to BlueChew.com, use code FIGHTFUL, and I'll see you next time.